Have you ever been at a crossroads? You know, the big time decisions that you have to make either in your life that could have life altering effects or career, which could have career changing effects. They come along all the time. I mean, in life, you tend to make decisions based on your emotions, those powerful feelings, maybe that intuition, maybe sometimes they're devastating choices that you have to make. But nonetheless, you make the choices or the choices are made for you. But in career, sometimes you have more control. You feel like you do, at least. So you try to apply more logic or look for patterns or create a perfect plan. And all of these methods can derail your efforts to achieve greater career satisfaction and success. So in this episode, we will examine ways you can avoid roadblocks at these crossroads so that you can navigate a pathway to your ultimate success and happiness. You know, because I'll meet you at the crossroads. Meet you at the crossroads. Meet me at the Okay. We're taking away from Bone Thugs and Harmony, taking me back to my days living in Cleveland, going to Case Western. But if you know the song, you can join in with me. And I'll get into some recent crossroads I've approached in my own personal life and in my own career that I think will help illustrate all of these points for you.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarret Patton.
Welcome to this episode 195 of License to Live. My name is Dr. Jarret Patton, and I'm your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you know anyone who has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And while you're there, rate this episode, rate any other episode you've listened to, and just give me honest feedback, because the more feedback you give, the better I can make this show, the more helpful it'll be for people not only in the U.S., but around the globe. And you know what I mean when I say dissed. I mean disrespected, disengaged, dissatisfied, disgruntled. All of these things that come in your life's path. And today we're going to look at removing the roadblocks at the crossroads that you may be facing so that you can have greater happiness and success in your life. And I'll get right to that right after we finish thanking our sponsors. Hey, this is Dr. Jarret Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, License to Live daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. License to Live daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Hey guys, This is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarret on License to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey. Let's go.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
I have to give a shout out to EH3 Coffee. They have been a multi-year sponsor of this show and keep doubling down. And when we come back to the table, I always ask them, besides putting out a superior coffee product, what makes you coming back to License to Live? Well, he said, there are lots of coffee drinkers in your audience and they know their coffee. So they love being a part of the show, spreading messages of hope, inspiration. You hear stories from our guests that we have on, and we're just so pleased to have that partnership. So as I tip up my cup of EH3, I'm just giving a salute and appreciation to EH3 for all of their long-term support. And enjoy your coffee. Well, recently I've been at a few crossroads in my life, and one of them, I'll give one example as a life decision, one example as a career decision. And we'll start with the life because, okay, well, we're not guaranteed life. We don't know how long we're going to live. We are only to make the most of it while we're here. One of my personal beliefs and values is that we are here to help as many people as we can while we can serve on this earth. And I use that to help guide all my decisions, whether in life or whether in career. And recently, I've had to make a decision in my own life to take my life into someone else's hands right now, which it's not a comfortable feeling. It's not a good feeling, but quite frankly, my youngest child, he is 16 now, and it is driver's permit time. Yes, driver's permit time. So any of you guys that are parents, any of you guys that are aunts, uncles that have tried and attempted to do some driver's education know what kind of life-changing decision this can be. Now, for myself, I've done it before. I've done it with my other two kids, and, I survived and made it through. So I thought, well, this is an easy life decision to make. This will go without a hitch. Until the first day I let him get behind the wheel and I'm sitting in the passenger side, not with the driver's ed car. I don't have any brakes or controls by my side. I'm just sitting there holding on to any handle I can. And well, the good news is no one was injured. Nothing was damaged. But I forget the roller coaster ride that you can be on when you start something new. And, having the courage to allow my son to start something new and be there with him during this time was something big. And I just forgot what it feels like. And this happens all the time when you may need to make that life decision and start something new. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Sometimes it is a little scary. However, you at some level have to make the decision, or the decision is made for you to move on. And even though I've consciously made this decision, it's changed my life. And it does, of course, for the thrills of what goes on in Eastern Pennsylvania roads that can be kind of aggressive with the drivers out here. It's hard getting somebody new on the road and letting them have a chance. But, it's one of those things where it gave me an additional time to bond with my son and just have some great conversations and have some time together. In fact, recently he was learning more about my business and he signed up for a free 30-minute strategy session. And that's something that any of you guys could do if you go to timewithdrjarret.com. Just spell out all the words and you can get direct access to my calendar and make an appointment. I told him he didn't need to make an appointment. He didn't show for his appointment anyway, but I keep those appointments open for you in order for you to bring anything you may have to approach me in which I could be of service, because that, again, is one of my leading compass points, is just being of service to others, which made this particular life decision easy. Now, switching to the career side, for me recently, again, I was at a crossroads. I had a series of recent events that led to me having a number of meetings with a number of different interest group stakeholders. That we'll start with this first crossroad, and really from local offices all the way through national U.S. House of Rep offices, people have been approaching me to start a campaign, to make a campaign, to start my political career. And you guys know I spent my time with a fair share of politicians before and got to have a little up close time with President Obama while he was president. Talked to some former presidents before, former first ladies, former state first ladies, and even interviewed a few political candidates and people who were starting their budding political career. And I looked at this opportunity, one, as an honor that people could think I could lead and to serve and make change on that kind of level. But it was almost one of those things where I felt myself getting swept up in the currents before I could even make a conscious decision which way to turn on this opportunity. And as I mentioned in the intro, decisions in life tend to be made at some level because you have to make them one way or another. But decisions in career, we try to take a little more organized approach. We don't necessarily just want to get swept up in the current and see where it leads, because it may lead you on the road to nowhere. I.e., go back to episode 193 or 194 when we were talking about loyalty doesn't matter. But in career, you want to apply logic. You want to apply, patterns that have existed in the past. You may want to look for that perfect timing or create a perfect plan. And for me, I had to think about all of these things. But of course, with a political campaign, these things are time limited. And I realized the series of events in my life made it so this could be a great opportunity, but I had not really prepared for it in the way that I would have needed to run for a U.S. House of Rep seat, as an example. So I said, at the end of the day, obviously, I did not decide to run in 2024. I'm not saying that I may not run for an office or a position somewhere in the future, but today wasn't the day for me. And this was also at a crossroads. So now we're like at a 5 or 6 point intersection coming in here, and and I had a great opportunity from a company that wanted me to be a brand ambassador for them. I also had another opportunity from a company that wanted me to be their leadership. And these opportunities were great. They would have given me an opportunity I didn't necessarily do exactly again, and it would be working in a different sector than I've traditionally worked. But again, I had to come to some sort of conclusion. And despite the fact that it was flattering that people looked to me for this type of position, the fact that I know I could do well at this position, it did not really line up with my internal compass, because I felt like I would not be helping people in the capacity that I want to, and the capacity that I am doing right now. So I decided yet again to pass. But what I want you to understand is that these types of issues develop in your own life all the time. And I want to give you a couple of examples and things to look out for so that you don't get stuck at, maybe if we're talking about a 5 or 6 point intersection, well, now we'll talk about a traffic circle. And whether you're in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, where they're springing up more, or you live in an area where traffic circles are new, the last thing you want to do is just be spinning around in a traffic circle going nowhere. So we're going to take a look at all of these issues right after we finish thanking our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarret's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarret.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Bear with me for a minute. I mean, think about when you used to plan a trip somewhere. They say, I'm going to hop in my car and drive somewhere. And depending on your age, and I'll probably be telling mine, there may have been a time when you might have just started pulling off maps on your shelf or going somewhere where you can get some maps so you can route the way you intend on going down to wherever you're going to go. And you just have to have map after map after map. You get detailed maps, not so detailed maps, and you get them out and you said, okay, I have a general idea. You may need to have, giving yourself some index cards or some note cards along the way so you can kind of abbreviate your own instructions on how you may have to navigate someplace. And you go from there. Then, something new came along that was kind of convenient and made it easier to make a plan to travel somewhere. It's called MapQuest. Some of you guys might have gone to MapQuest and printed out about 57 sheets of paper that had your route, your direction, that showed a little map on the inset, told you where to make your right, left turns, proceed straight, this, that, and the other. And that was a great way to travel. And then, obviously we get to move from that age to a true GPS age where people have GPS in their pocket. And so they do very little planning. They just plan at the time when it's time to leave, and you just type in an address and you get somebody to talk you through every turn and direction and help you avoid traffic. So let's say things are much simpler and easier now. You get somebody to do a lot of the heavy work for you. In all of these instances, you have to start with a plan. Now, the plan used to take a lot longer time to develop back in the day when you were pulling maps off the shelf, but today, you still have to have some planning, because it could be like, one of my plans that what really wasn't a plan. I remember having an event in New York City one day, and I knew that I had to get down to Virginia Beach for another event in another way. And I said, instead of flying, it would probably be nice to just take a coastal drive down, and I won't beat myself up on 95. I'll just take the coastal way. We're on the Atlantic shore, so it makes it easy. I'm just going from one point on the Atlantic shore to the other point of the Atlantic shore. So just so you guys know, that plan didn't quite work out. I mean, it was all fine and dandy, headed south, get to take some scenic routes. But at some point in New Jersey, I didn't just reach a crossroad. I reached the end of the road. And for those of you that know, I wasn't on 95. I was taking a coastal route and it ended in Cape May. And I said, why is the road ending at water? As I looked to people kind of waiting and lots of cars, and then finding out that, well, I was going to have to travel a little bit by sea to continue my journey. So luckily things worked out. Didn't cost me an extra day on the drive or anything, but that significant detail in the lack of planning, just figuring I just need to go south, I'll get there eventually, didn't work out. And that's what people tend to do in their careers. They are willing to say, I'm willing to do some work and develop some expertise. And I'm willing to invest 35 years of my life in this company to perhaps move up the corporate ladder, to get another position. And I'm going to do my best to take care of this company. And I know they'll do the best to take care of me. And that's just like me saying I'm on the Atlantic coast and I'm just going to head south until I get to my destination. There may be a lot of stops and starts there. You may not ever reach your final destination depending on what happens. I mean, if I had reached the Cape May shuttle and not been able to get to Delaware, I might have been stuck in New Jersey for a couple of days, or had to reroute myself and drive completely around the bay. There could have been all types of things that go on. And people do it all the time in their careers. And then they can't see it and they say, well, there'll be some other opportunity that comes along. Or, well, it didn't work out this time, but I know next time I'll, just wait out the next 5 or 7 years and that opportunity will be there again for me. And it may not necessarily. Let's face it, we're not even guaranteed the amount of years we'll have the ability to work. So as you are making your plan, back up a moment and just decide what types of things that motivate you. And you may not know this right away because, more time off or more money may motivate a lot of people. And I found out that it doesn't motivate me the way helping others motivates me, the way time freedom helps me, the way I can watch and monitor and take pride in other people's successes, knowing that they needed a plan for themselves. And by formulating a plan, things got better and better and better. So know what motivates you and fits in your higher goals, fits in your higher life plan, because then the decisions become easier. And most importantly, along my journey, I found that simply stopping at a rest area, asking for help, asking for someone to help me out. So, okay, I'm going to get out, stretch my legs here, use a bathroom, maybe grab a soda or a snack or something, and then keep my journey going. Take that moment with a friend, a confidant, a mentor, someone you can trust, or even develop a professional relationship with someone who has been there and who can help you see some of the things you can't. Because although we think we have clear vision all around us, we have blind spots everywhere. And talking it out, having these conversations are the things that can help you. And if you find yourself at a crossroads today, and you don't know which way to go, know that you have a free resource in me. Simply go to Time with Dr. Jarret, Time with, spell out the word doctor, JA2RSE1T.com. Set yourself up for that free strategy session. And let's talk it out and get yourself at least a preliminary plan so that you can achieve greater happiness and success in your life and your career. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and subscribe to License to Live. And while you are there, please rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I make sure I provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And in between episodes, I hang out on LinkedIn. I'm doing a lot of stuff on social media, so connect with me there and we'll continue our discussion. Until then, see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarret's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.